na ma spell din tete Chairman Joe so de nyina nim no so Chairman Joe eso ewo ha na afi na sakomia eso ewo ha NPP regional communication member Innocent ba ko de
yeah bend na de master say
master wo se
bend asebo
ai nyame ya do ma next week ye be ko efie be kaka na me do na ho na me do ko Accra de na me do ko Adehye FM e wo Kumase na me do ko Sunya FM e wo Sunya
so ye do Sunya ndi na ya diem
ndi sa no ba wo se kwa ye ma keke di be ye den ye be ka chance ye deliver to aso na se no ano no ti say ye ko to e wo class media Chairman John ti say
nyame so papa
nyame wa ye kase ho oyobolo now we ofo na na e busy dodo na no me fra call waiting san me see e blay na crofo wo mo tete blay pa o me fra bia na call waiting na me see ayeka na se ni aya na aye se ko ye de
na me super
ye de nyame ase papa eja bread na se na te say
nyame adomo ba
wo kita me bread din na ba bia wa kopie de se ya asem wo ho ye de
anyem bisa o makopie hin
wo say
makopie hin
ana wo bisa asem o let's say koye
adom
right. All right, so quick one yen na yen enra so many issues and echo so ewo kure mu Innocent me sha se wo so na me yen sha se free intim for your arrest any minority nsema beto dwa enra minority ye press conference intim for joy is not working alone there with him see omom penema national security for enchino according to Inter Kakra ye pick ye kire say honorable intim for joy allegations na oye no national security has tried say one beji information e free no ba say collabo ne ma or as an energy media no humbum as a person or trunk any free one afe national security from free media anymore. It's as a woman chena, woman san can no more any and rano. National security will quite so betty me action on tea. One more yes or more question them so be tea home. A ye fella into a more quite natural say, and if you have bomb na national security just say, Sunny, I didn't hear no more percent say politics. And one more year into no man channel so that a bema tension and a work room and they said uncle for ama some look at it so be a which answer no so bejo so your take on it
yeah the kind of mention na mention what here for na mention million my she has say menka say okroma agro ye ni so
concept
I quite drama and the media no so too much fixation on sensational issues as be nyansa bia nim no and give prominence to some of these things because baby dream me free say yesua de you see new government aba and amam for hese neema na nhihye be gu akwan be amam for abrabo asesa the reasons why Ghana for call about talk to abano that should be the driving focus of obi eko okay amana yetimi so wo position wo government you obi a ho kwan say ade ekoso na enya ya wo ba betudwa but asamna wo ba betudwa no say wo ho nyina so ene nasefo a sa na ye no but samra honorable in team ye feze fojo e sha ase a na all kasa anse me ba bia na mete wo ye Ghana ni our evidence no kire say but it got to a point that some no can boma now any logical analysis be a maybe shada hunyansa be a to begin with. I felt say it was just mere political propaganda because what can some say suspicious plane one who say kwabana na se for no you have every right to seek answers from our bank say oh but who say plane me and na kwaba you need to explain to her what is going on but to link it to a cocaine bust cocaine, the first one I'm watching, and do you know so much on the 4th of March?
Yeah.
Plain or can the first one arrive here on the 12th? So you see, say there is a huge gap. Yeah. By being and again, second one was arrested on the 3rd of April after two winning university on the 25th because both playing university on the 25th. So those connections are not there. So my question is, Abayaba, within 3 months, they've been able to arrest 3 high-profile cocaine issues. For me, that is a credit. Because in the last 8 years, but such profile and for government to be able to make such high-profile arrests, it shows that the security agencies are doing something different. And for me, that is credit. as an opposition and as an MP, you can pro further by asking the minister and as a national security say, we want to know who are involved, what step government is taking to ensure that we prosecute these people. To me, I say, what I say, but to spin the whole thing and make it look like there was some evidence connected to the fact that Abayano. Sina ya chino any plane na buy na say cocaine plane na so cocaine but na nyansa be na wom say when na cocaine business obeso agu plane mu e dey fa airport say obi mama just nyansa bi anim but enam say media no your fixation and obsession with sensationalism and na are interested in tea. So what's scanning through all the media space and nobody is talking about ECG containers either. Nobody is talking about Hadubwa here. Your friends say what for $7 million in as a forum. All the issues in here and all the media houses actually. And for me, what I'm trying to nanka me person me who say until for job canasem. Your friends say government outlet na diaba. Media and who is doing an independent verification to be able to put certain value on the seven or can say no cry and say no cray and I gum and away you to man away at one but I dare you would have say the economy and Ghana reputation is on the line. Go ahead at Trump as America and they are no domestication or globalization or attraction and do your mind I want to do near my near money foul we are and again Abra president at say those allegations on social media not sure say or no one interested in these allegations and the MP we saw evidence collaborate with security agencies obi a want some high profile evidence indeed a linking government a play na eba kobano cocaine and not more than I will be willing enough to cooperate and say these are my facts security for young collaborating in that particular investigation but you decline that call and say I was speaking on behalf of a committee, but the information here very damning. So you have every right to cooperate with security agencies. Situated this whole thing in a contest, but it does appear he's much interested in the political propaganda now. So all the time you see him on radio station, moving from TV to TV, granting evidence. And as no can what any logical analysis be and who any value beyond the political capital now or seek to harness out of this. For me, it's unfortunate, and you cannot blame him. National security for never blame you because Abra president the car said among collaborating at that point, whatever it takes be they just to secure him, just to ensure say some all kind but what the damage has been done. Ghana's reputation, everything. Now they've gone to a point of writing to diplomatic communities in Nasefona. The tentacles of this particular cocaine saga has been widened, has been blown wide, making it look like somebody has been arrested. Yet here, Obien who block cocaine. We have to say defend. So NDC now, who cares? So MPP, Obian found. All we know, say. Okay, the idea, Obien horses also. And this are we MP now, we also for now evidence. You know, credible what you done. Evidence now one fabra na nyina nhwehwem e bana se kwaku na bana so ye ndc o ye MPP no ye cocaine na but to go to the extent of mentioning names because in the press conference in the one of his interview say NDC MPB and na near money ene de na so evidence actually say obi a cocaine no o nia why don't you go to the security agencies so I think that national security should up their game because omo na ka ho na masa de we yaba bedu but the very moment president ka say on collaborating the following day they should have secured him just to ensure that whichever way he collaborate with them beyond but you liberate the person walking on the street waka the all kind waka guma we and the media no so fixation on propaganda now I take it the center stage and then will be a driver an issue no by the sad aspect of it is nobody is looking at the issues they are looking at baby and the across the political divide or NDC near the opinion or MPP the opinion and the media no see the medal for them to do proper inquisition into the issues and know say these are the real facts because I know personal track it planner. It's so easy to even do it online. There are apps and then as a forum. If you want information, you can cross check with this med because a company Juma now Obia order the flights here or the carinipa now just say or the swap cocaine. I saw a statement almost said they are ready to collaborate with whichever security agencies are ready to do the investigation. So why this out there wide blown political propaganda then as a forum? So I think can who be national security and because they left the thing open. and ansem na koso we waka kan do obeka nyina wie because me amete hai sa metena sena me tase nsem no one after the other na my analysis. My question is aban aba within 3 months high profile cocaine bust 3 and this aban na cocaine no che ne ho. It doesn't even make sense. And again cocaine enterprise in a very complex way a ring a syndicate no more pretty for 3 months aban na you can't set a cocaine operation in motion. It's not possible. It will take a lot of time, logistic planning, connection, and those things to be able. Unless you are telling me, say, Abra na omo opposition, they were doing it already. Because there is no reasonable person. How about this? When the 3 months are started cocaine operation, and we are able to connect from Spain to whichever country, and we are in operation. It doesn't make sense. You understand? These are pertinent questions. How you expect people to do? And Americano, we all have our right to make opinion and so forth, but make sure say you situate the whole thing in the context. I say be some reason and who's even though you're politics, but if you ask all the critical questions, you are not getting it. All of a sudden the gentleman has become like a hero, and the media we friend Nobody net independent verification. Nobody is asking all the critical questions. And I hear the political agenda near Namurubi to Gum. And I also know say emotional politics and I Nipano, no harm or Hamijana, Hanamijana, will think on a linear line. Or be expanded. We don't ask the critical questions. So for me, I think the security agencies to understand they are doing something right by making sure say all these high profile arrests have been made. And me who video be a Japan and improve for quiet some operation be. If it's a fake dollars and no more can I say so it's also all over. Baby cry how boom you to try me. All these things were going on. You can't tell me say within these 3 months and you could try as can. It's not possible. It means this criminal syndicate has been in operation in this country for so many years, but we couldn't bust them. So Obiabana within this short period, he has been able to arrest these people. They deserve credit. Where lies this political propaganda in the media whatsoever? For me, I think that this thing is much ado about nothing. You see, it's the old playbook that people are trying to revisit. Assembly Young Kangum, and then all the political parties have their surrogate in the media. And that is what they are doing. They are spend doctors, assembly by a spend amount. That is why nobody is asking all these critical questions. You understand? So I think a deliberate attempt just to skew the whole political narrative. Because time has come, the expectation is we need to hold them accountable. But all of a sudden, the narrative has changed. We are talking about cocaine when there is nothing like cocaine in this country. Arrest in Ukraine should be a credit, not bastardization. Except may I buy my cocaine. And why do you bastardize me? What about the last 8 years in cocaine? Which means that the business has been in operation. You understand? So I think media sometimes your fixation and obsession with this sensational way, we are hurting ourselves because maybe free will be a bedroom, Ghana for us, and in some year present here, we should not be thinking that we are presenting news to some gullible folks. We are going to be making informed choices. Who can't say now, man, for maybe a critical question, but Nippano or more alleged, they're the same people we are following, and we know that some more cannot are inquit. They are just series of intellectual gaps. Or more kasa. The intellectual gaps will live in their awakening. It's so astonishing. And the media are supposed to tackle all these intellectual weaknesses but we are making them look like heroes. And I am celebrating a man for a coba and arrest your Mukwachini drama. A more press conference in a forum and a whole lot of media for the camera and as for the national security they have a lot to do for me because I think could do because when the president said that particular statement the following day that guy should have been picked up just to help them in case arrest. Now you have an investigation or you situate in some now can read the say now we know if you're able to connect the dots now who's a value woman then we know what to do. Value nima. That is a woman to charge you when you deliberately peddle falsehood with malicious intent. Because disinformation and misinformation campaign at this time it's not something anybody should tolerate. You understand? So I think government must make it a business just to ensure we clamp down on this surging enterprises of fake news and propaganda now. Very often, the consequences are very hurting. we keep quietly allow our way. Nema we bet you jack to crew way. So I think we need to weave interventions to address some of these things. And the political propaganda is becoming too much.
And because of that, for so many, I want to say security issues in Ibu, what's the any was what the 2 thing. The last time I catch you be say within 8 years, information be bria no. You can see a dinin trouble and Kenya papa. But some of the issues when you hear it, you give it to the appropriate quarters, then you keep quiet, making sure they don't work on it. What you say? And my chat cry between the airline operators and Ghana Airports Company. There was a chat between team na wamuwa Ghana ha and one man no more bano and letting them the problem now play anyone. And now I'm the chat to TV.
Yeah.
Because we need to go beyond certain things. Because if Nipa no improve hey now some no go soon na mo from memoir, then it will force us to bring the evidence out. Meanwhile, these things are national security issues.
Nipa no can adwene say or can you be, but our minor reputation I was said because in recent time AU for blacklisted here for money laundering whole lot of time. Ghana embassy your friend is saying your account are now Belgium at some point in time was flagged for money laundering activity whole lot of stuff. It doesn't matter which political party is or power. It the reputation. We are gonna know to about Kwabontia. Never rube from Nunya the Ketua. It's not.
Yes, can only a year we say Ghana.
Yes. So for me, I think the political way not also. We need to focus na you who the na government should up in the communication way na some of the things how to tackle na how to address some of these things. You know, I think that can be na man na jijin se makwa kudu baby. We need to just situate this whole thing na yan kebe the surgeon and
okay, I'm in so. And run as okay. Oh, I don't want one. I see a free sympathizers. Me who see my command in Facebook. Everybody move. Now I don't know what movie be.
Oh, before I make can one no me den chia ke se be ma motif for me chia wan kasa na me den chia so ma motif for na ma chia me nya be me say we dey me first time we share ni right.
I who from afar.
Oh, be see me tin from afar. Say ye nyina ye ntumi nko honorable ntim for Jofi. Because the issue is here Intia Sebia man for Konifie, no, I think it has to do more with legal issues. Inti Mia Kumiabunsu Amiti, me lawyer. And I mean I make DDBA or politician BFE for no reason. So I think say or more one, some went there on the reason of solidarity. Because we sure a majority were MPs. Until they went there because Sebi or a sitting MP. Now to me to say MP Bakunfie is being raided because we had the military and other agencies there to arrest the man. I mean, hearing it into BR, if I were an MP, I would also have been there. And I think there were also former MPs and in lawyers. So for me, the people that went there for a reason. I think maybe CAC ama ene Ajubreaba. We share the press conference now. The MPP caucus in Parliament are ready for a jojo on this issue. I like Angela. Me pe Angela me nua bema no e dey nsem ni bi mu fae. But e bi mu nso no I think say we be say it's all about the fact. Now who can be say guy no okasa ye no the president say oh they are ready to collaborate. For me the whole issue should have ended there. But you see, President Nika say you know, we had the minister in charge of government communication, who is Honorable Felix Kwachi Fusu. And also Ebe can say, Sebe, President Nakana, or no ever right in terms of President Naman or they say, oh, President in your you know, it isn't us, Senate 19 for your expecting say Ebe collaborating with them to bring finality to the issue. But they want to make example of no intim for you. Say, oh, information. Now, the Boa state. Now, the same state is turning itself against you to say, example. You be cautious as to say, invite you. It is for me, no, Kwachi Fosuna, one man, this whole balloon about system, because President Nekasa, you know, the security agencies have the right through parliament, invite the man. Oh, Niema say in Awaka. Engineer so bang into na ode can near say oh engineer so way now almost sencheche mu bipo wo ho a omode be ma because ebia wo ye member of parliament unye security expert unye adwuma wa aviation but sabi ye nyina ye wo hei ne ye beti ne ye be hunu eno so na ye be gina di ayede a conclude bibi enti say ono eye chairman of the committee in charge of security and defense issues ehun say ati say o niema say na akoso na odi ato public domain and then the national security you have the right say mo be friend na ya then ya share in same nimu but you see near emma this plane in sensem no very very serious and say we share the narrative and the government seems to be changing its position at any point in time because the first time or press conference now or can say oh 2 planes about country you know say you know kwashi for super out ebe deny say planes be am by later or release the plane nama any near man and sana all by air admit say yes planes be by but plane no ban on or by no one enya technical fault e Ghana in fact enya Ghana po na eba that was a medical plane o enya Ghana na eba ebedu Ghana no developing fault na another plane which is also a medical plane and so by and this parts by sabi medical planes in 2 keke into the question is as a medical plane a two just to go and attend to a medical issue of someone into the question is that if he be a fee from Spain a bedu Ghana no one na ebe fa o Ghana na eto aso ko he e ko fa hwan from Ghana it went back to be a fee by those are suspicious questions he needed to ask. Secondly, second plane also a buy and also a cargo plane is also another medical plane. The question is that spare parts and a pass out share say you share medical mude buy no the question is that you the parts a good medical plane one because if that is also so plane biano abroche say na o 2 kwan na a passenger car there's a certain amount of cargo you can carry on yourself even to an extent of what money enti plane biano e wo niema esoa it is a the medical plane and a carry spare parts krana that is also questionable but on them can what say so enye say oka on a flimsy way say even the government now babeka all suggest to the fact that there was something fishy that went on within that time. Now, we say plane no developing fault. Sabi plane and say me too if you have tie back one you or so. But to the extent so can say the gearbox and a tie and a best say I wonder say before plane be to know you ensure the maintenance schedule and the maintenance history. All these things are suspicious activities that these planes came to Ghana to do. And in a question, Obisan say, at what point in time did the plane come and the activities near suspicious are aircraft? National security invite him. And you see, near Emma issue no is see and no air problematic. And say the man is a sitting member of parliament. Sebi, you can invite him through the speaker. Who inviting him through the speaker? He has no other option than to make himself available. How say koni fi akwa arresting no also akwa arresting no pe it is going to create what a lot of tension in the country. And I agree with this man. The sensationalism of this whole thing no it is the same government which is causing it because President Mama Kasa Sebi security services mu invited on the quiet because it's an MP. Now a lot of people have been invited by the security agency since Mama ascended the office of presidency. But most of them they will go, the interrogations will go on later. Now so you invited this person and all those discussions. But for me, I believe that the way and manner the security agencies handled the issue wasn't professional enough. For me, it looked like witch hunting. Sebi Nipana, look, there are videos and excerpts of Niema NDC for the Mokaya in opposition. Sam George, somewhere November, he was alleging, say, Ghana Armed Forces plane. If he 37, that's Bema Camp Honomo, Ako Tamale, Ako Kumasi, Accra, National Service for the ambulance a beyi niema edi fimu enti yen investigate. Nobody went after Sam George. After all, he has an information. He has said what he thinks has happened. It is up to the security services and those agencies to speak to the issue. Say, oh, this is what happened. Of course, I agree with you. Say, niema ni bimu national security. Enti to me found tujwa ema obi antekra. The person is an MP. The minister in charge of national security can brief parliament, even closed doors. They will have fair idea as to the transparency of some of these things. But any panic now the only thing say, oh, you are going to make example of him. What do you mean by making example of him? What it means that you are even prejudicing the investigation you want to do, because if you are open to want to investigate something, can say you want make example of the person. I would also not be willing to open up, because so for me, we only have one country. Say it doesn't matter NDC and MPP. MPP thought we will be in power for so long, and then we are in opposition. Definitely, NDC will also be in opposition someday. But say, and strengthen your security agencies to be professional enough. A bear affected ye and NDC. It could be another party. And for me, dear NPP, like our leader said, we are open to judge on the issue. Or move per Quine Paso, inviting Reverend Intim Fojo to whichever agency. Let's speak to the issue. Evidence might not necessarily be say or pictures of cocaine and all pictures of it. This is the movement of the plane is suspicious. If there are explanations to give to him, let's give to him. Committee never set it to investigate this. So yes, he had a point, because clarity needs some of the movement, but these are the reasons why things happen. They happen. Now clarity, because I agree. Say as it stands now, no pay nankayeka other social issues about car kwanya and but we are all on this same issue. Say before me, sometimes it looks as if it's a waste of everybody's time.
All right, Chamajo.
You see, sometimes MPP who are on theatre and theatre and so one dream we know theatre. I am ya the mom say omo enuanu we busuafo omba minim legacy omo jadi mata ebusuafo no dachi I am ya the mom. You see, on say na me bra can be say $7 million I think be anipa me no bi ni na ele o omaye kanana fa I feel him. And one them down because a good MPP party, and no, sir, some good MPP party too. Sir, your friend is saying, ECG containers here. In paying for your Bob MPP form penny for. I feel your marking to need woman, my bonny D, and also to a good party, and we are 2. 3, I sorry, then cathedral, no, ask them. Sika involve was cathedral no egu MPP no near 3 and dollar $50 now ye ko hu ye eno susu gu MPP party 4 former Bank of Ghana Addison containers bi say kwa abonten e ko hu woni fie also no the package document from the Bank of Ghana eno susu gu party so
e ko hu container wa Addison fie
e say omo trans won na omo form bibi no come the kata sanya mani nyina so nti na say a friend reverend obi also your sofo na ka sad we ko put them because na miss of on enchantro say a friend sofo a now you be a how should I even put u ya obi a usumbo osofo u kanu kre because u tun kofofo what I say osofo u tun kofofo dia say ni pa ya e boni no u tun fo say man ko ye but who know your osofo no because of MPP 4 almost say identity now say when you single out now we be trust now this are allegation when you about one thing now me feel say identity na sometimes the MPs di bonia na say omu ye nipa si obi asebi omu ni gold and omu junso ni petrol ni diesel I dey go for him to omu ye so special to the sense say say arrest omu na question omu di bonia and say omu kata boni no so to the time ye be beka se trauma speaker ana ye nya no time no na boni no we di akọ enim no akata dodo na
chairman jo dey is a constitution no
ese constitution no was an no because again who put some allegation out and you say okay a year pass when we so when president on pesa anyama no e boni no on pe kokain on pesa better and no say oh and you find say we hu say dey no hu and script for no ye so bra bonti no ni script for no e be baako na fa information na evidence nyina fa blom na ka muntrase na ka yentimi di wasem na say betimi arrest ya arrest say betimi invite prince friends captain or whoever omu involve one ya invite omu o ti dey be member iti who say the way who adu you say say na who your MPP ni o who your NDC na your Ghana ni o dey onya party nipa na wadu you han bata who dey eko who dey oka nukre say government na eka nukro dey bi hu say MPP opposition na eka nukro hu say na bata e ya so the media for to media omu ya nyama papa bebre wo manum a e koso a say kan wasem but ye tell asem ba ko a for say 2 weeks and twem a hu media fufuro bi o kan fufuro a di mpuntunduma e be bro ma we hu bi da say media fo ni nyira ko because enu na nko fa bi so e ba sa na e ana emi ya hwese o ka se koke o se 3 o si plane o mu ko yin na no mu o mu di koke ni ba no mu de ba just to come and cover all good things nyama na e koso no okuda to ejuma oye before okuda to sa nyama we nya ye wo position before okuda to this allegation be say be ba bonten no aye set am we hu no kra no prove evidence upon evidence but ye do Mr. Fordwo and I guess I no mu friend onu ni de no de ba bonten titi anu oni okuda to de anu there's a difference a woman is okay. So any kwa chi wo fie susu a na kwa ti say almost a witch hunting. Now which spoiling who stay at the end. I tell my who can and yes who can Ghana nko and the whole world I tell na Ghana na who tonu like who see Ghana into my what than Ghana into my guna who see the atawa bonten because ebia o tell ko America na ebia ye show passport nke ni e better ko e be on fast can mu fa bibie mu a na be fam because ye hu say cocaine ye dey brow and na wo so dey ablen it is who to kwa nyema se wo fam nu wo be fam ama wanga so be bisa won say me buy na say mamba won say na dey anything so say me share for do ni sem na wo kana me entity to mami tam no obi na no first day no obi na no kan sem no ban say we hu cocaine bi say ana we hu plan bi a wo di cocaine aba o man sadana na keso mu pekinu sadana na keso mu fa no na approve say nuclear evidence or one is approve the security for na ke sa se wan ka akoto but yetima twa ma papa no or kan radio station or kan News FM or kan TV station ti see information of papa no o person oton wa toni nya ya mo man no ama sanya man na ye tackle before no ni nyina akoda e na papa we yasem and na asema se wo kan wa ase ya e betima aboa ama nipa tie e da to na adwuma se na wakọ no sa sem ni na wan kan wo fojo asema na ye ka fojo asema ye kan so a amfa hwi papa bi ambre o man no so je mi kan say enani che ya papa na so mutimi nya no no timi ko bie na no na information evidence o wono on provide farmer security corpus no na omuhwehwem na se ebo a ya aban no class aban de lin kokea no mu nko mo de be fast se nya no class se o de lin kokea no mu nko mo de for John be fast because MPP for no omu mpeta de papa bia be ba o ma we mu just omu ye bibi e de akata ne ma so sad ye ne se security for no so because I had the boni ye did the boni dia ma o ma no.
All right, Easter you probably abaton one year my 360 Easter discount fair. Ah, de every one patch stand and just 1,000 Ghana cedis pay. Ya offer one more. Bomidi eka hona one more amount discount. Number no ba ko pena me de be ma 0551 095 257 0551 095 257 patch Easter discount fair ye de bro ewo Atlantic Mall Atomic Junction hono mo a me pa cho Easter yi de fiti next week Monday e de kwasisi e be di Easter na wie ne kwasi da na ye de picnic aka ho ye Jordan de me pa cho ye Easter a discount fair any day bread one patch where ya tete so eti fa woni ama ne bra be showcase na Ghana fo nyina enhu dia wo ton na watimi enhu say eja wo so dia wo ton no Ghana fo ye ne je ho ye beto me se me pa Accra Central ko de one ya na traffic timi chi nipa ne ade no ya na me ntampe o konti eja enyame ya doma from Monday di kokosisi e be di Easter ye wie Atlantic Mall eho na metie ya che se 360 Easter discount fair ne ho na me wo innocent enra na abansi we dissolve National Cathedral Secretariat now we are for Gyakye Quason acquitted and discharged from all the allegations I did to the so courts.
Yeah, let me debunk this notion. Very often you hear it on radio. A man for say constitution bought MPs home, but you can arrest them. That is a lie. There is no single constitutional provision in the constitution where ma HSA MP. Now Mumoko Article 117 and offspring some immunity on them. So in the exercise or discharge of their duties, and especially when Parliament is in session, I want to mention but that way is interpreted to mean that when he's on his way, Parliament is in session because he's going to join the session, and when he's exiting, Parliament is also in session. But we what is our name away from ma MP ne unity for duaboni team kuna untimi nka say enchi MP what has happened American so immunity no protect you more in the discharge of their duty. Sunday uti fear na what the you can be arrested. There is no law that says MP cannot be, and that's a Parliament will be in session next day and you will not be available. All you have to do is to notify Speaker say Abrantania chain Saturday into our own custody. So I think that way we just have to collate. And again, you see, in some now suspicious plane circulating is different. Cocaine that has been arrested is different. Me MP no buy and now focusing on the cocaine. Yache cocaine within 3 months. Ye gidi yambisa buying questions meaning the issue because obia or crime, but two distant issues which are not connected in any way. Trying as much as you can to connect the two, no, and then that is what is creating this whole thing. And for me, that is why I blame the security. Say that connection or try to connect, you know, and uncle pro for that particular way. But to fill the gap with the misinformation, as a form, no. I think I'm going forward. I also think say national security, you know, we need to your friend say see because in recent times, I think I don't think national security is an intelligent organization because it's supposed to be an intelligent organization. But that is not what they're supposed to do. You work with intelligence, raw information, you process and translate into something valuable. There are other security agencies that should take upon themselves these things. For instance, this arrest warrant or procure warrant and some kind of social media. Now one can tell me about you. One can tell me to be fair, say a warrant about you, and I'm not telling me. You see, I think we need to look at our security agencies as well. Okay. Quote, we are funny people, yeah.
Hey, we are not serious.
Yeah. And didn't tell me one father and chin anymore. Or try a band free to now by floor bar. No. Because
some people did it and we all condemn it. Some of the things we condemn it. So if we all condemn it, somebody should not also do it. That was fun.
No. National security and rogue arm.
But a buying bar, or politics, or Mupamu, about we buy money and a tribune. It's Munna Munko, not young fire the embra.
National security would the idea that you when him now said that no,
I mean support to but because Abanama the night. Abanama the night. Ubakaya, MVP time, or Muba power, or Muko Fast House. So police in your war, then police ni oye police ni o.
Say yeah no pepe them gradually become a lawless country. Innocent.
Yeah, I think with the National Cathedral obi ba ko na me very vocal about this whole way because me I felt it was a senseless enterprise. I be pushy on my sika kuguma this time investment countries make at this time trying to project and give life to kids na ye tam sika se kwakusi cathedral na kwatena makobom paye na nyankopon de ebone ache that kind of mind no belongs to the 12th century baby ye drew a investment or mine obeye the value you put on young people the opportunities you create for people no and ye de chichira of mine enya me kwatena baby na say tie if na ba pa bom paye wunya eto de empire win national win or independence square or phobia. So it didn't make sense. That is why some of us stood against this and yet senseless way and yet sensible way as you invest this account. I can answer some more crummy in the panty. Sanka ya koya kwa itimisi cathedral nanka $50 million koya ya Kenya bonnet. Sisi amenoka say ya sink over $58 million and yeah straight cash.
I know I see a buro.
I know make say a straight value because maybe are not a dying not judges dying or your bugu. There is this campaign no so the Juma or seal government.
Togo embassy or
there are several other way and there. So what I say and in some year can I trust her. And what we need is a proper forensic audit, not just nasa board in the project is useless. Nobody is going to continue that particular process. And we'll be in Hobitima backroom will be seen National Cathedral at this time. And then we are now that announcement. It's never going to happen. So the you board no, that is the first step. But for me, I think that we need to go down, do proper forensic audit again. Every single person that is involved in this particular scandal must be prosecuted, including a software company for criminal mudisanse. Yeah, because they were the very people who ushered government. I go for as president, there's a masume there, Miss Maye, Cathedral, Ma, Abain, Abba, a friend saying Yankopon, and I'm walking for my sick day. But more who should have known better. Ask question where those monies were coming from. When the person has told you, say, oh, you saw my sick. They knew what was going. After I didn't jeans, Munu, where and software and toilet, but where you know film. Now, you saw my sick a year who films are. I think every single person that is involved in this particular thing must be prosecuted. Now, I'm found to money near addition, dear say. Or my sick, I am fun means a moon, a patch, I was there, and I'm who may say, no, they knew at the time because young my think Chankrana, Yanka Hono. We knew that this whole thing was a scandal. And for me, the government aired this bandia, it shouldn't just end there. But it's one of the reasons I Ghana for Kojina so Mokotoaba, Cathedral, no, and the Kakuri Diabegu Ghana for so. And that money could have gone into other ventures. Yeah, for instance, the last time I make Oko Kolebu, your first a rental unit. At some point in time, we shut it down for almost 3 weeks. People were dying. Who are dialysis now, corner machines in Yajuma, a death sentence for you. There is nothing that can save you in this world. People died. Now, we are sinking money into these enterprises. Who can't say money penty. So for me, I think that another is just a starting point. Yantana proper your friends say audit into monies. Baby a cover free why the man those authorization board na yet those who were taking salaries and stuff. Let us audit. Now I'm just supposed to against the course pit, that's a connect here. So when you let them go because I don't make a witch hunting, nobody's witch hunting anybody. But in a situation where negligence, incompetence, and recklessness, a result of mine, I say, how willfully causing financial loss to the state. And for me, I think that a lot of people have foolishly caused financial loss to the state. They must answer for their crime because you see, beneath it, this massive. Your first say about to cause who ye accountability. So government decide no money dia grow. Not yet to papa so yam fan channel that kind of way. Trust me. Okroma nyam for that because a man for people are watching what will happen. So this will be the beginning. Na yam mran to ho na yen hye any yesebaya or mine sika yen timi fa nyesa na ma we because what na when dem akoso okroma say now where kwan ya to sika gu na the suffer amam for suffer na the fact say nobody is held accountable na se for no okroma ye ja no hokope obi foforo so baba ya de foforo and obi yisu we as a reference point until be about betimi ayedo open wasoro hoko. We cannot build the country like that. So for me, National Cathedral there ya de ba ko awo Ghana for edi so So you're making sure say every single person that is involved, be from head to toe, baby I offer seed money, can for a tattoo on was sign no ma 60 million seed money, president is signing 32 seed money, I know the day no nothing came out of it in the issue. So I think that people should answer. Gyakye Quason issue is true. I think that I'm very happy because as one of the issues na Attorney General
yeah.
Na the issue no one penny.
Yeah.
And it's good to say I'll go into final trial my ruling about it. There were some of the cases that I disagree with him because I felt some of the your friend saying suit prosecution, you know, were motivated by political your friends say we a new value yeah. So you give your other guys the political capital, but let the issues proceed. Now, no court na 10 minutes no say assembly no dey ba court no ehun we bi anim and okọ ene court na exonerating obi antim fa assembly nko chechire ne say and attorney general twam because when you know say assembly that chechire no new value bi and you don't need to terminate it, let it go full trial. I know that then you exonerate yourself. These are lessons that we need to do. You see amamo no buna wanye, there are certain things you need to do. One way obey mistakes actually never be until what I say, and so is one of the perfect destiny happen because in the next 10-5 years, Obi and Hobe to me, I cover Gyakye Quason issue about him because I go full trial, court worthy, one wherever why exonerating you cannot revisit the issue in as for him. But the year term, no Obi Banokas will be a book, I'll go back at the end of the So I think that going forward, these are lessons that we need to learn. So, but yeah, you make those mistakes anymore.
Ernest.
Actually, just in the issue is much I do about nothing. Because Sebi, issue near court no. Qualification was against the state in terms of abina be prosecuting us no. And abina before no or say okohun Gyakye Quason lawyer I chikata. Send be or be question like or question others no. And almost Davy. Timabe who say young question see who person call full trial. Mention I say me the evidence buy against so. Seven fanku. For me it's much I do about nothing because
we say Gyakye Quason there no obi na de ne koye.
No the evidence have been in court all
issue baby o say when na prosecute no abai na prosecute no
nipa no de asem ne koye Thomas something o free yamrase.
No, sir, if say obi na or the assembly court, then they are then at Attorney General Echo Huns or person question. May the court, and Attorney General and a person of question. I buy no and I didn't court.
On evidence or don't know who you know who say who he.
Maybe only who
the bottom line is that I go through trial. And
I go through trial, but Abino had wanted to quash the case from day one. So definitely I go through trial. Sebi evidence and now Sebi. The way I say I buy no extra trial no call whether for and you see I agree with the angle or the issue by say if the Attorney General had not said anything about Gyakye Quason case naka me mean submission me no but one say there was one trial Godfrey Dami say oni Jakpa case no I say o coach Jakpa behind the scenes you know my case ni look some way but that's what I'm saying say nanka Attorney General one budget Gyakye Quason case ni so emra or kwashi among 4 cases nanka like it is Gyakye Quason would have been what exonerated.
I think it was a question from a journalist.
Yes, and no besides I didn't know see who chikata say or per se case near called the full hall but you see me obi as same court na edi we are me trimu because I believe say Sebi say obi feel say asem no anko yi amana there's always an appeal. Okay. The judgment has been given, the man has been exonerated, case closed. Obi ofele say case ni yendi ni year otumi call appeal e ma ye revisit case but until then no the man has been exonerated yenim na ye call but the learnings are a woman I believe say Ghana for ye nyina then you see adi the film. Now when it comes to the cathedral I may hold back on a lot of things because Ghana high away Sebi near mimi this sikabe no ebi a esno ne ono so di odis sikabe and I say governance is about say the omani sika amao o tre ne o de beye esno ne NDC di Ghana sika ye na esno ne MPP so di Ghana sika beye now say ye ma ade no koye too religious the problem ema me ameti because sabi ye nuanom nkremofo so omoko hajj abane bo omo hoka menti say Christopher Israel and bibi abane bo omo hoka. Now if it is anything to say okay e kana abane because hajj almost omoko yi sometimes me ti ane say bia okwa na the dinner assistant to alaji ogobon paye ama oman no ama ne ho say kan paye bon kwa nko bon ha. That shouldn't be the argument. Ye boa oman na oman na develop. If we think say cathedral aban se obesi as it stands now sika komodie what they say but ye pese ye audit na ye hu the way forward. Okay sisi ye pese ye de be cathedral ni bium ye de be project fufuro ye betumi see ye dan na ba ye de be project fufuro ye find cathedral. For me that should be a different conversation. Ampa the place was given to certain people say or monhwe say ye feel say sikedie bi akoso enye me na me san obiti yen hwe what ought to be done na yenye but my han yeni emfa asem enhye obi emra asem bia emfa ne ho. As it stands now they have dissolved the board. I'm sure say auditing will be done. Yes na me nyina wie na obi hu bon mu a yemfa ne famra kwan so bi a hu bon mu a yen hwe ne ye di project ni be a be den e be ba so be ba mfa so amagana fo nyina.
Okay,
right.
Chamanjo ya time na so
cathedral no hu say emre bi e kan say sa cathedral ya papa so kwa koyi no say odi onu ani botum sika wan ka say odi omani sika e cheni hu say omani sika na odi ya ade no but me no ka say won de be mi ya ni say ye be hwehwe mu awie ni aka say sika e be were mu no ye omani sika na ya sumati na ade no be court na 30 years kra no mu wie na ni pa na fa no di because omuni say Ghana court nsem no ko no ma etimi di years na ebi wo kra na nipa ni kra we free mu na asem no ankosi ba bia and it o man ye leaders bi mu ye niam bia emfa kwa mu mutimi ye for mu di because anka cathedral ya ye kan sika I involve o sa cathedral asem mu a more than $58 million I bi kra e we chire na ya ntimi anya hwe foundation kra ye ntu bi wo no se anka me anka be ya anka ni menim ya ye start say omu fresh ankofo na omu wo nsem yen from ni president no a former president no tutu ni en question no de ntia oye na adwo so okoye sika no fa wo hin wanum no omu ya involve wo sa de no mu pa sika no omu tuatua no ede be dwuma na tani pa ne ye ene twa sika no ma no na enumanim ya sika no e wo ayenje se nipa no japade bi a ebetimi asu sika no so ayentimi to japade ne yenje
Gyakye
Quason na asem no first time na omuka se papa no na first one e court no omuko di asem na omuka se ensan ko to aban fufuro na ye ko e by election that time na ye kazenka yenka yentwem because your man sika ananka ye se no itinka ye so man da chin so itinka yentwem because nipa no wusi we bunu for we yin efra kunya so wata ko content we wini na kanu ansen kete ja tatam no but yetima twa asem no ma papa no wasa ko akodi nkunim ama asem ti tari ato atem na etu egu ama papa no wasa di nkunim iti fa so be na di bro man no ska say ye that ya say ani ti say oman no ye bibia embo oman na eti say adwu mienu o because ye sika e di beboa ena me no kata ukokolebu ko 37 ko for da form omunya mpampo nda obi kra wa wo fresh onya mpanda so e form no da sai sika wonya betim dia boa ama sanya manya etima boa ama etumpon but e boko ko sika mfa so bia emba so no e ya na hu ni mfa so eni tie mpanyifo ni e say nyo mukata na nyoma bi ombe ya emfa so mplo man no e so muhwe ni menu anta ombe ya o my sanya ma we nipa like emfa so bia ambre e biti say Gyakye Quason na temi hwene akwesi baby a edebe ni munyam na di blow man no amfa ni munyam bia amba passport atem na di court passport atem na di court ene ye ka se papa no on be chance papa nso akwesi baby so mu ye bibia o mu dwi wan so no maye
medase chamanjo medase Ivan Che innocent medase papa na afi Ernest so medase